Hi there. Welcome to the Sensory Spa Resort and Casino. My name is Jeremiah. Please, take a seat. Your first time to a casino. Perfection. Okay. Well, welcome. First and foremost, this is gambling. So in the land of gambling, there are no guarantees, and the odds are always going to be in the house's favor, no matter what game you play. Okay. Now I'm going to be going over something called basic strategy, and I'm going to help you out with that. And one of the great things about the game of Blackjack or 21 is that if you play basic strategy, perfect basic strategy, this becomes one of the most favorable games that you can play in any casino. It's the closest to a 50-50 as almost any game in a modern casino. So, would you like to learn the rules? So, first things first, when you approach a table, of course, you're simply looking to see if there's an empty seat in front of you. If there is an empty seat at the table, generally it means anybody. You may sit down. It may be considered etiquette to ask the table if they mind. Many gamblers are very superstitious, and if a table is hot and the people are winning, they might not want you to sit down. However, if the table has been medium or cool, nobody will mind if you join them at the table. So you'll take a seat, and the dealer will ask you, what would you care to buy in for? You'll always place your money on the table, okay? You're usually $100 bills, if we're being honest, sometimes 20s. But you're going to lay your money flat across the table, okay? And the dealer will take that money. You may never actually hand money directly to the dealer. You're always going to put it on the table. Look at your buy-in. So let's say, for example, a pretty typical beginner buy-in at a modern casino is, let's say, $300. I don't know if that seems like a little bit or a lot to you, but I'd say that's generally about the least amount of money you would want to buy in for. And you might say, well, why is that? Because you want to have at least 15 to 20 bets in front of you. You know, if you're going to be a serious gambler. If you don't care, if it's just purely for fun, this part doesn't matter at all. You can buy in for whatever you want. Just play one hand at a time. It doesn't matter. But probably you're going to want to buy in for at least $300 because currently on the Las Vegas Strip, it's very, very difficult to find a game that's less than $25 per hand. And when you go down to lesser games at $10 or $15 per hand, a lot of their rules are less favorable. I'm seeing now in Vegas casinos, Blackjack not paying out 3-2. So 3-2 means that if you bet $100 and you get a Blackjack, you win back $150. So your bet plus 50% of your bet pays out 3-2. Insurance always pays out 3-1. Now you're going to notice on this table as well that it says dealer must draw to 16 and stand on all 17s. Unfortunately, this is no longer the reality in Vegas. It would be better for you and me if it was. It's not. Turns out they've run the math, and having the house only stand on a hard 17 gave them a 0.02% advantage. But when you're talking about millions of hands, 0.02% is a massive difference in the long run. So all casinos nowadays, at least in Vegas on the Strip, go until they get a hard 17. Now, what is a hard 17? It just means that, well, for example, a soft 17 would be an ace and a 6, because the ace can be either a 1 or an 11. So an ace plus a 6 is a soft 17, and the house actually must hit a soft 17 nowadays. And at the lower paying tables, $10 tables and the $15 tables, a lot of times the blackjack only paid out 1-1, which is wild. That's a new thing in the last couple of years that I've seen. It's very unfortunate for the player, but you would like to buy them for $300. So we'll do a variety of chips. We'll do a couple, some $10 chips here. We'll do like $100 in tens. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oops. 50 and 100. And we'll do some $25 chips as well. And we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 is 100, and 8 makes 200. Okay? So here we go. $300 in front of you. All right? And you're going to simply place your bet in front of your card area. So typically, like I said, minimum bet is $25 in most places. What would you care to bet? Let's say you bet 25. Perfect. Betting $25. All right, and you're going to get card face up. I get a card, which will eventually be face up, and then you get a second card, and then my first card will be shown like so. Okay, so you have a 17 versus my 4. Now, I'm going to be using a phrase called the book. The book says. What that means is there was a book that was derived by these 4 gentlemen in the Army Corps of Engineers back in the 50s, and they figured out the math behind basic strategy and what you should do. Whenever you have a 17, that's a hard 17 or better. It's an automatic stand no matter what, especially against my 4, which is a bust card. So you're going to just wave your hand over your, like this. That means you're going to stand, okay? And then now it's my turn, and I have a 12. Now, of course, I must hit. 12 becomes a 21. Now, that is unlikely, but it does absolutely happen. So we lose our first hand. Now, in Vegas casinos, you'll oftentimes have cocktail servers going by. You won't ever order drinks from the dealer in a real casino in Vegas. You'll have cocktail servers coming by, and when one comes by, he or she will ask you what you would care to drink, and drinks are generally free in the on the strip casinos, the Wynn, Aria, Caesar's Palace, the Bellagio, any of the main strip casinos. The drinks are going to be free. It is customary to tip. Leave a few dollars as a tip. And your bet, please. Let's do 25 again. Okay, betting $25, and we're going to get a 7. Team again. So, versus again my 6. Typically, this is a major bust card. You always stand on a 17. And now I have a 9. Team, so lose again. So again, the goal of our game is to get to 21. If you can get to 21 exactly, that's the best hand you can have. You can't go over. If you go over 21, you bust. So trying to get the best hand you can up to 21. And let's try again. Bet, please. Okay, 25 again. All right, $25 bet. Good luck. And we're going to get a 9. And we have a 15 versus my deuce. Okay. Now, in this case, going back to the book, so you have a 15, so you need a 6 or less to not bust. Now, the book actually says you should stand on this hand. You're more likely to get a 7 or higher and bust, and a deuce is known as a semi-bust card for me, so it's not great. So the book says you should stand right now. I'm going to stand. And the deuce becomes a 9, 9 becomes a 14, 14 becomes a 20. So yet again, I'm clearly demonstrating why you should not ever go gambling at a real casino. May I get you a beverage of some kind, even though, like I said, normally the cocktail server would offer you something, but may I get you a beverage of some kind? Alcoholic, non-alcoholic, whatever you like. Something different. Tell you what, the underrated beverage these days is, I'm going to recommend you do a Tom Collins. So that's going to be gin, some sweet and sour, so fresh lemon, fresh lime, agave nectar, simple syrup, and club soda. Want to try one? It's delicious and refreshing. Okay? All right. Let's go ahead and get a Tom Collins for our. Do you have a gin preference? Sapphire, Tanqueray, what's it called? Aviation. The aviation gin. Yeah, I like that too. Let's get an aviation Tom Collins, please. Thank you very much. And your bet. 50. All right, that's right. 3 hands in a row. We're going to win one, right? $50 bet. Let's see what happens. Then we get a jack. That's better. How about a 15? And a 10. Now, whenever the dealer has a 10 card showing, they're always going to peek at their whole card. And what the dealer is checking for is if they have an ace and they have a blackjack, they would automatically flip it up. I do not, so you're going to go ahead and play on. So a 15 versus a 10, and this time the book says hit, because generally speaking, you have to assume that whatever is this card here is probably a 10 card. So it's a 10, jack, queen, king, possibly even an ace. You know it's not an ace. I would have flipped it over already. But the book says hit, so you're going to go ahead and hit that 15, and you get a 22. A little bit too much. We had 12, so we lose again. Happens to the best of us. Your bet. Let's go 40. Okay, I've changed up. Let's go with a $40 bet. $40 bet. And you get a 6. Soft 17 versus my 9. Now, same for you. Whenever you have a soft 17, turns out you're better off hitting basically almost every single time. You can stand on a soft 17, but why not see if you can make it better, especially against a 9. And soft 17 hits, and now we have a 15. So 15 you would want to hit against a 9, and 15 hits and becomes a bust. But at 18, so had you stood, you would have lost anyway. But 4 in a row is a winner. You know, it happens. Tom Collins, my friend. Give that a sip. Let me know how you like that. It's nice, isn't it? Yeah, refreshing. It's a good drink. Okay, but back to our game. What would you like to bet? 25. Okay, betting 25. Then we have a 3. 12 versus my 10. And I do not have a 21. And 12 against a 10 would like to hit. 12 hits and becomes a 19. That's a little better. We're going to stand on that 19. And we have ourselves a 13. 13 becomes a... That's a 20. See, this is a rough start. But, like I said in the very beginning, it is gambling. Your bet, please. 30 this time. Let's bet 30. Okay. Betting 30. And we're going to get a 6. 10 versus my deuce. Oh, no. This is fun. So, it turns out, if you have a 10 total value versus basically anything that I have, 2 through 9, the book actually says to double down. So what that means is you're going to take your bet, double it, put it right there, and you get one more card. Okay? So if you get an ace or a 10, finally, okay, you get a 20. You have to stand because you can't get any more cards. I have an 11. I have a 21. So that happens. That definitely, that's happening right in front of our eyes. So this does unfortunately happen in the land of casino games. So that's what, 6 in a row we've lost. What would you like to bet? All in. All right, $50. Here we go. Let's go for 7 in a row. I'm just kidding. Let's not go for 7 in a row. We get a 4 and 11. That's fun. Versus my 3 now. Once again, the book says you should always double down on 11, no matter what. You don't have any more money, but normally you would double down here, okay? Instead, we're just going to hit, and we get a 12. So that would have been suboptimal. But you have a 12 versus a 3. You can go either way. Hit. All right. And now we have a 15. Now the book says you're supposed to stand against a 3. Okay, we're going to stand. There we go. And 3 becomes a 7. 7 becomes a 14. 14 becomes a bust. So for the first time, you have 1. Congratulations. Chip a chair and a prayer, and we play on. Alright, finally, your bet. 50. Yeah, let's go big again. I mean, you did lose like 6 in a row. Let's see what happens. And now we get a tray. 8 versus my ace. Okay. Now there is something called insurance, as you can read on the insurance pays out 2 to 1. Insurance is when you would take half your bet. So in this case, you would $25, and you would place that like right here, for example. Okay. And what you're betting on is that this is in fact a 21. Okay, called a side bet or a parlay bet. Now you'll notice it pays out 2 to 1. Oh, that's interesting. So if this is a 21, you lose this, but this pays out twice, right? So this would pay out this. So you end up breaking even. Does that make sense? If I have a 21, you would end up breaking even. However, the book says never take insurance. And in fact, most professional gamblers say just never take the parlay bets. Your odds of winning are way more in the house's favor. Yes, it's like, but I could win 20 to 1. Right, but you're not going to win, which is why they offer those bets. So the book says never take the parlay bets. So yeah, in this case, you would say no insurance, no insurance. And in this case, you would be right. This is not a blackjack. Play on. So you have an 8 versus my ace. Hits. And now we have a 17. And the book says stand on 17. So stand on 17. We have soft 17 ourselves, but we have to hit, unlike what this says. And now we have a hard 17, and that means this is a push. So that means we tied. So we exchange. Leave it out there. Okay, that's called letting it ride. Let it ride. Let's see what happens. We get a 10. Cowboys, you get 20 versus my ace, and yet again, would you care to purchase insurance? Same thing as last time. No insurance this time. And this time, we have the 21. So, tragically, this does lose. And your bet. The final 50 again. The final 50. Chip a chair and a prayer. Let's go. And we get a 5. Soft 16 versus my 4. Okay, this is great. So, soft 16 versus a 4. Again, this is a bust card because you're assuming this is a 10, so it's supposed to go 10, 10, and bust. That's what's supposed to happen. Will it? Probably not, but we'll see. If you have a soft 16, book says hit. You hit that 16, and now you have a hard 16. With a hard 16 against a 4, the book says stand. You're going to stand. Let's see, is this the 10? No, it's a 9. 9 becomes 20. So, in this case, you got cleaned out very quickly. Okay? It happens to everybody. In which case, I would say, would you like to buy in for more? I don't know what your budget is. Let's say you buy in for more. Let's say you buy in for $500 at a $25 table. So that would be a couple stacks here. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 100. It's 200, 300, and $400 and $500. Okay. And of course, we wish you the best of luck. And your bet, please. 50, all right, 50. Let's bet $50. Here we go. I feel like your luck is going to change. It's got to, right? 10. 18. Let's versus my 4 again. 18 versus a 4. You should stand. Very good. 4 becomes a 14 like it's supposed to, and this is supposed to bust. Well, I said supposed to. Did just give me another 21. This happens. This happens, my friends. I've seen it happen many times. In Vegas, no less. Your bet. 50. I'm betting 50. And here we go. We get a 9. 16 versus my 5. 16 versus a 5. Book says stand. I'm supposed to bust. You're going to stand. 5 becomes 7. 7 becomes 12. 12 becomes 13. 13 becomes 14. 14 becomes bust. Whew, that was close. That was a long ways to get to a bust there, but we'll take it. We're going to take it. We're going to take it. It's 22, but not by much. I only busted by 1. But you did win. A win is a win, friends. A win is a win. Let's take that win. Oops. That chip was mixed in there. That was supposed to be. That was the $100 chip. That was my bad. Alright. So finally. A win. Alright. Your bet. 50 again. Here we go. $50 bet. Here we go. And you get a 9. 11. That's fun. Versus my 10. And I do not have 21. So what do you always do with 11? You double down. Doubling down on 11. And how about a 10 card? You deserve it. 17. And we ourselves have 13. 13 becomes a Kristen. Hey, look at this. You actually won 2 hands. This is crazy. This is, I mean, I told you your luck was going to change. I told you. And your bet. Let's go with a $100 bet. I think your luck's really going to change. Let's find out. $100 bet. And we have 7. 18 versus our 4 again. We're supposed to bust. You're going to stand. And 4 becomes a 13. 13 becomes a 16. 16 becomes a 20. Oh, man. Well, these things happen. These things happen. Your bet. $50 bet. $50 bet. Alright, here we go. Let's try this. I'm going to get a 6. 13 versus my 10. And no blackjack. Hits. 13 hits and becomes a 18. 18. You're going to stand on 18. And we have 18. We push. Now, let's just say to make it interesting, I'm curious if we added a hypothetical player over here. Let's just say we add a stranger. Let's just see what happens if the stranger plays, and will that affect your luck? Let's find out. I'm going to leave the 50 and let it ride. And we get a 10. 4. 14. 13 versus my 10. And this person would hit, and they get a 16. And 16 is supposed to hit, and they get a bust, okay? And you have a 13. 13 is supposed to hit. 13 hits and becomes a bust. So apparently that made no difference at all, obviously. In fact, this person's bad luck. Bad luck. No, let's try it again. 25, and how about 50 again? Okay. Let's see what happens. They get a 4, 7, 8, 17 versus a 10. And tragically, nope, not today. A very cold shoe. The shoe is what you call the 6 decks that are over here. It's called a shoe, so it carries all the decks. Let's just say this person goes all in. I don't know what it is. 100, 200. Okay, they go all in for 200. What do you want to wager? 50. Okay, we're doing 50. And let's see what here. Our friend gets a deuce. You get a 4, and they get a yikes. And you get a 13 versus our 6. A great card for you guys. Deuces. Normally you'd split deuces against a 6, but you can't, so we're just gonna hit. And 14. Book actually says stand on a 14. We're gonna stand. Same with you. You got a 13 versus a 6. The book actually says to stand. You're gonna stand, alright, because it's probably gonna bust. This is supposed to be a 10. It was not. It was an 8. It becomes an 18. So yeah, everybody loses. Listen. 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 It's okay. As long as you're having fun, that's what really matters. We'll say goodbye to our friend. Au revoir, friend. Back to just you and me. What would you like to wager? 50. Let's try it out. Let's see what happens. 50. And we get a 10. This is better. 16. Suboptimal. Versus my 9. Well, you're supposed to hit. I know. But you assume this is a 10, right? So hit the 16. Just keep it little. 21. There we go. And I have 13. 20. Look, apparently the only way to beat me is to get 21s around here. 21's 21 though. Yeah, let it ride. Alright, let it ride. Come on. Let's get 2 in a row. Let's get crazy. Let's say you might actually win 2 in a row. 19's not bad. Versus 7. This is good. We're gonna stand. And we have 18. You've won again. This is 2 in a row. Crazy. Okay. Alright, there we go. And 100 again. Let's do 100 again. And we get an 8. 15 versus our deuce. What do you think you should do? The book says stand, correct, because deuce, 2 through 6 are bust cards. The book does say stand. We have a 7, 7, 16, 16, bust. Hey, look at this crazy turn of events. It has been a slow, brutal walk. Finally, it's changing. What would you like to do? When the streak is streak and keep it going, keep it 100, alright? That's right. Luck tends to be streaky. Let's see what happens. We get a 7, 15 versus our 8. What do you think you should do? Book does say hit, exactly. Keep it little. 6 or less. Oof, that's not what you wanted to see. And with that, you would like to call it. I understand. Listen, this has not been a massively profitable day. There's a few things I didn't get to show you about, like when splitting cards. So if you have, 2 6s, 2 7s, 2 8s, 2 aces, 2 10s. Not just 2 10s though. For example, you can't split a king and a queen, and the book says never split 10s no matter what. It's the old bird in the hand versus 2 in the bush, but those are the basic rules of blackjack. So you had a total of what was that? 800, because 500 plus 300, and we're finishing off with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 10. So that's 250. That's 1,000. So no, I'm sorry, that's 500. So it's 1,000. Oh, did you actually make money then? Because that's 100, right? 200, 300, 400. Oh no, total of 500. Maths. So we're down $300 still, but we can have some coloring up. So if you want to say, would you like to color up? That means that the house will give you big chips. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'll collect these. That way, it's easy for you to, of course, move around with only a small stack of larger chips. Thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with me. It wasn't the most fruitful day of cards, but hopefully you learned something, and you'll come back and see us again real soon. Until then, sweet dreams.